Welcome. Welcome to the Kohatsu Cave of Games. My name is Nathan Kohatsu, and I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite games. It's a space-themed game called Galaxy Trucker. It's published by Rio Grande Games and Czech Games Edition. It is designed by my personal favorite game designer, Vlada Shevadl. It is a 2 to 4 player space-themed game that deals with building a puzzle. Everybody gets their own little puzzle that they have to kind of figure out, and once everybody's done, they'll take that puzzle and throw it into the GameWorks and then see how it fares against the game engine. You do that 3 times. There's 3 rounds of doing this, and then the game is over. So it is a shorter game. I would say about 20 minutes per player is a fair assumption once everybody's gotten a grasp of the rules. Without further ado, I'll just take the game to the table, set up all the bits and pieces, explain a little bit about it, and let you know who it's good for. Let's go to the table. Welcome to the table. So this is how Galaxy Trucker will kind of be set up when you first initially set the game up. However, there'll be player boards for all the players, and you won't have anything face up, but obviously I'm going to explain some stuff for you. When you start, you're basically just going to have your very first ship, which is your round 1 ship. Now, the whole basis of this game is that all of the different players have been hired by the same company, some big galactic corporation, who tasked everybody that's playing to build a ship. But they don't have the actual ship or the plans. They want you to go to their company junkyard, piece together a ship, and then fly it out to the nether regions of space, picking up cargo along the way. You'll play 3 different rounds with 3 progressively bigger ships. That's your round 1 ship, and this is your big round 3 ship. But you'll deck out your ship in the first phase of a round. Everybody builds their ships simultaneously from the same grab pile, the same junkyard, essentially. After everybody's completed building their ships, you'll go to the second phase of the round, in which all of these mission cards will get shuffled together, and everybody simultaneously will have to go on the missions and see how their ship fares in space. The main goal of the game is to try to keep your ship intact enough to pick up cargo. Once you end the mission, you go through all of the cards, you'll eventually dock. And when you dock, you'll get a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place bonus. But essentially all of your stuff will sell for money. And that is the victory point counter in this game, is space bucks. How much money you can earn while you're flying this corporation's junk pile of a ship. So like I said before, you'll be flying 3 different ships in 3 different rounds. Each round is broken up into 2 phases. For the first phase, you will get your central pilot seat, which is the color that you will be playing in the game. I don't know if you could tell too well, this is green. And from here, you will build your ship. Now there's basically one rule when everybody starts building their ship. Somebody will take the timer, and if it's the first round, we'll just flip the timer over on the one spot and say, alright, let's start building our ships. Then everyone will go to the grab pile, take 1 tile, bring it back to their little area, flip it over, and take a look at it and decide if that's something they want or not. If it's something that you do want, you need to immediately connect it to a piece that you already have on your ship, and there are some guidelines for the pieces that I will get to. If you do not want to connect it directly to the ship, then you can save up to 2 pieces here. Otherwise, you have to place it back into the junkyard face up and go for another tile. As soon as you do that, somebody else can grab that piece, or you can go back and grab that piece later if you wish. You basically just keep going like that until you construct your ship. After you feel that your ship is complete and you don't want to add any more to it, that person will take the timer, assuming that it is ran out from the initial flip over. That's kind of the game's way of giving everybody a buffer. But once the timer is ran out, you can flip it again over to the start and take the number 1 position token, stating that you're the first one to be done. That gives you priority here on the launch circle, where the red arrow will indicate the first person to finish their ship, and in the first round all subsequent ships will start skipping 1 space behind. So if it's a 2-player game, then this is how it'll set up if green was the first to finish their ship. Now I will go over how to actually construct your ship piece by piece. The first thing you need to know when you're building a ship is how the pieces connect together. It's kind of like Carcassonne or any other tile laying game, to where pieces have to match side by side no matter how you build it. There are 2 connection types in the game. There's just a single connection, which is an inner connection, and then there's an outside connection with 2 little connectors. So if you see this piece right here, has 2 inner connectors, 1 outer connector, and then 1 combo. The combo can connect either way. So if you have a piece like this, that will be considered a legal connection, as well as that, or that. But you cannot do that. That's not legal. All of the pieces function the same exact way when you're connecting pieces together. That is really the only rule that you've got to follow. So, going down the line of all of the different pieces that you can build to your ship. The first piece is a structure piece. This actually does nothing to enhance the quality of your ship. The only thing that it does is it gives you the ability to expand your ship quickly. So if this piece is here, then you've just given yourself greater expandability. So these pieces are very nice to grab near the beginning of a stage to help expand your ship for multiple options. Next up is your pilot piece. This looks very similar to the head pilot piece that you get. Each pilot tile that you add to the board will give you 2 pilots when you go and load out your ship at the end of the building phase. It is recommended that you have at least 4 pilots going into your first mission, which will be 1 of these tiles for 2, and then this guy will load up for 2. You'll need pilots for a variety of things when it comes to the mission cards, so pilots are good. You need pilots to pilot your ship. In addition to pilots, you also have aliens! Aliens can live in pilot bays if they have a life support section attached to it. So if this is on your board, like that, then you have the option of adding 2 pilots to that space, or you can add an alien that is the color of the life support section to that pod. The only rules regarding aliens is you only get 1 alien instead of 2 pilots. And if this section ever blows off due to an asteroid or a space battle or something, then your alien suffocates and he dies. So it's very important to kind of shield your aliens inside the ship, so they could be protected. Obviously this is not legal, but just to show you. The purpose of aliens ties directly in to weapons and engines. If you have a purple alien on your ship, for every purple alien you get a +1 to your weapons whenever weapons are calculated, and you get a +1 to your engines for every brown alien that you have. So they are very valuable because they do count as a crew member, and they help boost the production of your ship. So they're very, very cool. Next up is cargo. Cargo spaces are very, very important because they hold cargo. Whenever you stop by a planet, you'll have the opportunity to pick up some goods to sell at the end of the turn. There are two types of cargo tiles. This one is just regular old white. It can hold 3 of the 4 goods that are available in the game. The only good they can't hold is red, which is the most expensive. These guys can hold red as well as the other 3. They can hold all 4. So it's good to have a variety of cargo on your ship, because it's really the only way that you're going to earn a lot of victory points at the end of each turn, is to have cargo. So also very important. As you can see, it's a theme. All these tiles are important. Next up is lasers. You'll be fighting foes as well as defending your ship against asteroids that might attack the ship. Lasers is how you'll defend yourself. Each laser that you mount on your ship gives you a combat strength of 1. So if you have like one here, here, and here, that would be 1, 2, 3 worth of firepower. You can also mount your lasers sideways and down. If you mount them sideways and you get attacked by an asteroid on the side, they defend against the row that they're facing as well as the row above and below. So they can help protect your ship by pointing them sideways. However, they only count as half strength. So if you had one facing up here and one facing sideways here, your total combat strength would be 1.5, because this is in half. Likewise, if it's facing down, that also only counts as a 0.5. If a laser is pointing down or up, it only defeats asteroids in the exact column that it is facing. Lasers, like engines, have placing rules. You cannot have anything in front of a laser. So it is ideal to have a laser on an edge so it could just fire straight out, as opposed to placing it here, which effectively blocks that tile from having anything on it. So it's ideal to have lasers on an edge of your ship, firing away. Engines work almost just like lasers, except they can only face down towards you. They cannot face any other direction, and they cannot have anything behind them. All engines add a +1 to your engine strength. All the other tiles in the game, these 4, kind of tie into this tile right here, which is battery power. Battery power helps power double engines, shields, and double lasers. Double engines and double lasers are pretty self-explanatory. They're just like their single component, except they count for 2. So if this was on the board, this would count for 2 firepower. If it's faced sideways, it counts for 1, 0.5 plus 0.5. The only way that this will fire, though, is if you expend an energy. Each tile that shows a battery source will have actual physical batteries on it. So this will supply 3 little units of power when your ship leaves dock. So you'll be able to fire this weapon off 3 times, for example. Just like your engines, it'll expend an energy to fire your double engines to get 2 points instead of 0. You can never use a double tile for a single worth. It's either all or nothing with these guys. So if you put them on your board, make sure that you battery up. Lastly, shields. Shields defend your ship in 2 quadrants depending on where the actual shield is facing. This particular shield will protect the front half of my ship and the right half of my ship from small weapons fire or small asteroids. That is also depicted here on the main board. Shields will protect against small asteroids, and shields will protect against small laser fire. Big asteroids are destroyed by an up or down laser in the exact column, or in the 3 rows, middle, up, and below of wherever that laser is facing. Large laser fire you cannot defend against. It's going to blow some piece off of your ship. So, now that I've bombarded you with what all of the tiles do, I'll go ahead and build a mock ship and kind of show you exactly what it looks like when it's done and how we're going to head into the next phase. Okay, so I went and built my ship. It is complete. The one thing I forgot to mention during the shipbuilding phase is instead of taking a tile and flipping it over and taking a look at it, there's 3 columns of cards that are set up. And they're set up based on what they show on the little mission card. So each column here will get 2 cards with a phase 1 on them, like so. So instead of taking an actual tile from the junkyard, you could take a look at 2 cards and see what you're going to be kind of dealing with. So if you pull these 2 cards, you'll see open space. Open space is dealt with engine power. And meteor swarm is meteors will be attacking the ship. There's a lot of different card types, and I'm not going to go over all of those because then the video would just be way too long. I'm just here to help the majority of gamers getting into actually building the ship. And then from that point, somebody that's experienced with the game can kind of explain what the cards do. But for the most part, you just build your ship and then just throw it at the cards and see how it ends up. That is something else that you can do during your building phase to kind of help design your ship. If you see a lot of meteor attacks, then you really want to load your ship with guns to defend against meteor attacks. So once everybody's done with their ships, you can kind of go around and double check, make sure that all of your connections are legal, which it looks like they are. And I've intentionally left a space open down here so I can showcase a very important. Most of the time you'll be attacked by a lot of small meteorites that will just bounce off of your ship, as is shown here. Small meteorites will just bounce off of your ship unless you have an open connection that is peering off into space. You need to close up your ship the best you can, and if you can't, or if you've placed a piece already, then you need to lay shields in a fashion that will protect that part of your ship, or you're just leaving yourself very vulnerable. So, say this is the way that the ship was built. The turn is concluded, so now everybody at the same time goes through and loads out their ship. So they'll take their little battery tokens and place their battery tokens on every single spot that shows batteries. Then you'll go to each crew location and load up with crew, and that basically shows everything complete and ready to go. I can hold lots of cargo and one special cargo. I've got some engine power, I've got some shield protection, and a lot of forward facing guns. So if I'm attacked from the side or the rear, I'm kind of screwed, but the ship is only so big. Once everybody's set, all these cards get shuffled together, and you'll just start flipping through them one at a time and resolving them. In a meteor swarm setup, like how this is, the person who's in front will take the 2 die and roll the die based on which direction the meteor is flying. So we're going to get attacked by a big meteor flying down, which goes to 5. So that flies down 5, and I've got a gun facing that, but I need to power it up to actually shoot that asteroid. So I'll have to take one of my battery tokens and get rid of it. Everybody on the table does that at the same time, because they all get attacked by the same meteor swarm. Some of the cards are different. They're all explained in the book, but a majority of them are either going to be attacking your ship, or you're going to be landing on planets to get resources. There are usually four planets on each card, and the person in front gets first dibs at what planet to take. They'll basically just indicate that they want to go to that planet, and that costs them 3 days to do that. So up here, they'll actually fly backwards 3 days. 1, skipping, 2, 3. Now blue's in front, and blue can decide to pass, and then he'll be in front for further cards. However, if you stopped at that first planet, then you get all of those resources. and you just dump them onto your ship. So all 5 of those get dumped onto the ship. It's only when you get cargo that you get to redistribute your goods on your ship. Once you've landed on a planet and put your cargo where you want it, it stays put until the next planet landing. Then you can kind of redistribute your goods. So say your ship looks like this, and you're trucking along, and all of a sudden you take weapons fire from behind. It's a small asteroid, and it hits you right here on 6. It will remove that tile. This good gets lost in space, and the tile that got exploded goes here. Remember, this is also where you staged your tiles during shipbuilding. You can store up to 2 tiles here, and other players don't have access to it. You're kind of reserving it yourself. But if you did not use these, then they count as scrapped as a negative bonus. Each tile that makes itself here is a -1 space buck at the end of the round as a penalty to a maximum of 5. So it's something to keep in mind. Try not to lose your ship. However, in this particular case, now you have to check all of your junction points, and everything that was attached to that ship solely through that point also get blowed up. So, oh no, the whole wing of my ship just got blown up. So all of those pieces go away. If you had pilots or batteries or anything, they're gone. Sorry, that's your heap of junk now. It's 2/3 strong now. So, I'm not going to go into great detail about what all of the cards do. Just know that you're going to be attacked by a bunch of random events. And you just have to live through it. You either live through it or parts of your ship blow up. The only way that you can completely lose a round is if you run out of dudes. If you run out of engine power, that's fine. You'll just kind of sit there in space until the end of the turn, but you'll still be able to turn in your gear. The only way that you can officially lose your ship is if all of your pilots die. Then you actually don't have control of your ship and you have to forfeit that round and you don't get anything. But you're still in the game, you can build your next ship. So after you exhaust the card stack for the missions, the mission ends and you'll count up all your victory points or space bucks based on the amount of cargo that you got, what place you came in at. Like right now, blue would earn 4 and green would earn 3 at the end of the turn. And this +2 down here indicates the person who has the cleanest ship with the least number of connections into space. As right now, I have 1. So if I beat everybody with a 1, then I get an extra bonus of $2. You'll go through 3 missions like that. The second mission introduces level 2 cards and has bigger payoffs. And the third mission is even bigger. After the end of the third mission, that's the end of the game. You count up the number of space bucks that you've gotten through the course of the game. At the end of every turn, you'll kind of get your space bucks, and then you'll turn them face down, and you don't spend them on anything. It's just basically it's victory points. And whoever's the highest total will win. So that's Galaxy Trucker. I hope you liked my little rules explosion. It was kind of sporadic, but hopefully you got the idea of what all the tiles do and how you can kind of build your ship and whatnot. I know there's a lot of rules with the cards I didn't go over, but you have to get the game. At its heart, it's a puzzle game. You can play with up to 4 people. You're collecting off of the same pile, and it is timed. So all of that kind of snowballs into this really nice, frantic feel of everybody's always watching everybody to see what pieces they're returning to the table, because that's just like the one corner piece that you've needed for like 3 minutes. So everyone's really concentrated on what everybody else is building. And even though there is a lot of luck involved in the mission card side of the turn, since you have the availability to look at all of the cards, you can plan your ship accordingly. However, there are a lot of people that are just going to go willy-nilly and just build a ship and throw it into space, just so they can get first place positioning. So it's just fun to see if the haphazard ship just lucks, like Han Solo's its way through everything, or if a calm, calculated type will actually strategically build their ship to a fine T and get the job done. Really, really fun. The only player interaction is during, it's kind of subtle throughout the whole game, where you can compete for pieces, and then you always have that first, second, third, fourth place kind of leapfrogging to see who wants to finish first, who wants first dibs at planets kind of deal. But there's no real direct attack other ships in this game. It's all kind of, you're just collectively throwing your heaps of junk through space and seeing which of the 4 ships will survive in a 4-player game. And it's really fun when the ships don't survive and somebody rolls a 6 and there goes the left wing of your ship. Or on the super board, there's one connector piece right here in your little Starship Enterprise that you really need to heavily protect, because I've seen it in a lot of games where this piece gets blowed up and all of a sudden you lost the whole bottom half of your ship, just goes away and you just have your saucer section left. Super awesome game. I give it 2 super big thumbs up. I'll play it every time somebody brings it up. On my BGG scale, it is a 10. Alright, so that's it. I'm going to wrap up the video. I'm going to display the links to my BGG account. I recently got on Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter. I do a lot of conversing with game developers and whatnot. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate everything that they've done for me on Twitter. So you can join and follow me on there. This is where I'm going to be posting my videos. You can subscribe to my YouTube, all that jazz. But go ahead and let me know. Leave comments. Talk to me on Twitter. Let me know what videos you want me to do next, what you want me to do better with these. It's a work in progress, but hopefully I'll get it to the point where it's going to be a well-oiled machine and I'll start churning out videos. Alrighty. Until next time, this is Nathan Kohatsu with the Kohatsu Cave of Games.